Chapter 1. The Whispering Forest. Long ago, in the heart of the vast Mbata kingdom, where the rivers glowed like molten gold and the baobab trees told stories in the wind, there was a forest so old that even the ancestors had forgotten its true name. It was simply called the Whispering Forest, for its trees murmured ancient secrets only the wise dared to hear. In a small village nestled at the edge of this forest lived a girl named Aminata. She was born during the harmattan winds, when the sky was a blanket of dust and the land thirsted for rain. The villagers said she was touched by the gods because her cries as a baby brought a thunderstorm after 7 years of drought. But Aminata was strange, even to her own people. She didn't speak like other children. Her voice was soft and musical, like the rain on dry earth. Birds would gather when she sang, and even the most restless goats would calm when she hummed. They called her the girl with the voice of rain. Chapter 2. The Leopard Appears. One moonless night, while the villagers slept, a terrible cry echoed from the forest. The next morning, the villagers awoke to find their yam barns raided, their goats gone, and strange prints in the red earth. Large paw prints, clawed deep and soaked in black blood. The village elder, Baba Ogund, gathered the people and spoke. The leopard spirit has returned. It has awakened after 100 seasons of silence. Many were afraid, for this was not just any leopard. It was the cursed soul of a once great hunter named Obaseki, who had killed sacred animals and defiled the shrine of the forest mother. For his crimes, he was turned into an immortal leopard, doomed to haunt the forest, feeding on human greed and fear. Chapter 3. A Call from the Spirits. That night, Aminata had a dream. A giant baobab tree whispered her name, its leaves glowing like fireflies. Beneath its roots sat a woman cloaked in vines and stars. Her eyes were rivers, and her voice echoed with thunder. "You must enter the forest," said the woman. "The curse of the leopard spirit must be broken, or your people will perish. You alone, Aminata, can calm the beast. Your voice holds the key." "But I am just a girl," Aminata whispered. "You are more than a girl," the spirit said. "You are the last daughter of the river mother. You were born of rain, not dust." Aminata awoke with her heart pounding like a drum. The choice had already been made. Chapter 4. Into the Whispering Forest. At dawn, she wrapped herself in her mother's sky-blue wrapper and tied around her neck the cowra necklace passed down by her grandmother, who had once been a great rain priestess. Without a word, she entered the Whispering Forest. As she walked deeper, the trees bent toward her, whispering her name. She saw creatures not known to any human, snakes with feathers, monkeys with glowing eyes, and butterflies that shimmered like moonlight. At the forest's heart, beneath the giant baobab of her dream, she found the leopard. His fur was black as night, and his eyes glowed like burning coals. He was massive, taller than a man, his muscles rippling with dark power. Around his neck was a chain made of skulls, each bearing the mark of a different village. "Why have you come, girl?" the leopard snarled. "I have come to end the curse," she said, her voice trembling. "There is no end. Only hunger." The roots of the giant baobab rose like serpents from the earth, their bark glowing with ancient runes. They coiled gently around Aminata's ankles and wrists, lifting her from the forest floor into a glowing sphere of light suspended in mid-air. The wind grew still. Not even the leaves dared rustle. Time itself seemed to pause. Then came the voice of the forest spirit, not from one mouth, but from many. It was as if every tree, every stone, every stream, every ancestor that had ever been buried in the earth spoke in unison. "Aminata, child of rain, daughter of the river mother, you stand before the spirit court of the ancestors. To break the curse of the leopard, you must pass the 3 trials. The trial of memory, the trial of mercy, and the trial of fire. A bright light flashed. Aminata's body dissolved into mist and reformed on a vast plain covered in golden grass that shimmered under a blood-red sun. She stood at the edge of a village from a forgotten era, watching people celebrate a festival with drums and fire. A younger version of Obaseki, the hunter, emerged, strong, proud, handsome, and draped in lion skins. Children chased him in admiration. Elders bowed to him. He was the pride of his people, said the spirit. But pride can be blinding. Time sped forward. Obaseki now walked into the sacred part of the whispering forest, ignoring the warnings of the shrine keeper. He found a golden lion there, a guardian of the forest, ancient and wise. The lion bowed and spoke in the ancient tongue of beasts. Spare me, Obaseki. I am not your prey. I am the balance. But Obaseki, consumed with ambition, slew the lion and presented its head to the king in exchange for land and a seat at the elders' council. The sky darkened. Thunder roared. The forest wailed. And the curse began. Obaseki's body twisted in agony, his skin turning to fur, his voice to a roar, and his eyes to burning coals. He became the Leopard Spirit, cursed to wander, to hunger, to never rest. Aminata wept. She knelt beside the lion's ghost and said, I see the pain. I see the mistake. But I also see the man before the curse. Then you are ready, said the spirit. The next trial awaits. Aminata awoke on the edge of a dark river, where fog blanketed everything. The trees here were gray, the flowers wilted. From the mist, the leopard spirit emerged. Massive, terrible, his breath steaming with rage. Chains made of bones clattered around his neck. His claws glistened with the blood of years past. I have devoured kings, he growled. I have swallowed warriors whole. What can a girl like you do to me? I have not come to fight you, Aminata said, her heart trembling. I have come to forgive you. With that, she began to sing. She sang not of rage, not of vengeance, but of sorrow, of understanding. Her voice quivered like a stream in drought, then rose like a river in flood. The song told the story of Obaseki, the great hunter, the beloved son, and how the fire of ambition burned the house of his soul. The leopard paused. His breathing slowed. A single tear escaped his flaming eye and dropped to the ground, turning into a white lily. The chains around his neck cracked. One link shattered and fell. Aminata stepped closer. Let the past be ashes, and let mercy be the rain. The leopard fell back into the mist, vanishing. The trial was past. This time, the sky darkened entirely. Aminata found herself in a vast circle of cracked red earth, surrounded by flames. The heat was unbearable. Fire danced around her in the form of ancestors long forgotten. Some kind, some angry, some silent. In the center stood Obaseki in his human form, shackled by fire, eyes dull with hopelessness. A thunderous voice echoed. Every curse has a price. To break it, something precious must be given. Choose. Aminata. Will you offer your life, or your voice? She looked at Obaseki, then at the sky, then at her hands, the hands that had calmed storms and healed wounds with melody. She could not let the curse live on. She had seen the suffering, felt the despair of the forest, the loss in her people. She breathed in deeply, and made her choice. I offer my voice, she said. No, cried Obaseki. You cannot. But it was done. Aminata began to sing one last time, her most beautiful, most sorrowful song. It rose above the flames, piercing the heavens, calling rain from the stars. Her voice summoned the water of the ancestors, the tears of 1,000 spirits, the lullaby of forgotten gods. Each note peeled a layer from Obasiki's soul, burning away the curse. The fire around them shrank, hissed, and finally died. As the final note left her lips, Aminata's voice vanished. Her throat tightened. Her lips moved, but no sound came. She had given the world her voice. The earth shook. The baobab trees glowed gold. The skies opened and rain poured, not just from clouds, but from the air itself, as if the heavens had waited for this moment for centuries. Obasiki collapsed, now fully human, gray-haired, scarred, but no longer monstrous. The forest sang. Birds returned. Flowers bloomed. Sacred beasts, long hidden, emerged from the shadows. The leopard spirit was no more. Obasiki bowed before Aminata, tears pouring down his face. "I have no right to live," he said. "You do now," Aminata mouthed. Though no sound came, her lips spoke forgiveness. The forest spirit descended like a wave of stars and mist. "Aminata, you have done what warriors, kings, and shamans could not. You broke the curse not with force, but with compassion. Your voice may be gone, but your spirit now speaks through every leaf, every drop of rain, every child who dares to love instead of hate." Aminata returned to her village, carried on the shoulders of forest beasts, elephants with silver tusks, panthers draped in moonlight, antelope glowing like embers. The villagers wept and rejoiced. The drought ended. The yams flourished. Rivers overflowed. A new shrine was built for the Rain Daughter. Though Aminata could no longer speak, she became the oracle of the land. Her silence spoke volumes. Children sat at her feet to learn wisdom. Her gaze healed the sick. Her hands blessed the rains. Obasiki, now an old man, lived in the forest as its eternal guardian. He protected the balance he had once broken, listening to the wind for Aminata's silent song. And to this day, when the first rains fall after a long dry season, the people of Mbatu kneel and listen. They say if you're quiet enough, you can hear a gentle voice riding the wind, soft and pure. It is Aminata, the girl with the voice of rain. She sings still, in silence, in sky, in spirit. Years passed. Seasons danced in their eternal rhythm, planting and harvest, drought and rain, birth and burial. The village of Nduma, once small and hidden in fear, became known across the lands as the village of rain and mercy. Travelers came from across mountains and rivers just to walk through the edges of the whispering forest, now renamed the Forest of Forgiveness. Birds with feathers like fire sang in trees older than time. The wind carried wisdom, and the rivers knew your name before you spoke it. At the forest's heart stood the great shrine of Aminata, carved from the bones of fallen baobabs, glistening with rainwater that never dried. The shrine held no statue, no idol, only a circle of smooth stones and a pool of crystal-clear water that rippled with unseen music. People would kneel at its edge and listen. Many said they heard nothing. But the pure of heart, the seekers, the children, they heard something soft and sacred. A hum. A lullaby. A promise. Aminata never married, though many noble sons offered their hand. She instead chose to raise the orphaned, the abandoned, the lost. She became a mother not of one, but of all. Among them was a girl named Ifwiko, born under the eclipse, whose eyes reflected stars. Ifwiko could hear Aminata's silent voice in her dreams, and she would wake with songs no one had taught her. She played the udu drum without instruction. She spoke to birds. She danced with the shadows of trees. One evening, as the moon sat low and full, the elders of Nduma gathered beneath the baobab. Obasiki, now ancient, leaning on a staff carved with leopard teeth, looked toward the shrine and spoke. Aminata's gift did not end with her silence. Her spirit scattered like seeds in the wind. One of them has taken root. He turned to Ifwiko and bowed, not as a teacher to a student, but as a spirit to its heir. The people called her the daughter of rain reborn. Aminata passed into the next world not with death, but with the wind. One morning, she stood at the forest's edge, watched the children play, touched the earth one last time, and walked into the mist. Her body dissolved like dew at sunrise. Where she disappeared, a blue flower bloomed, a flower that had never grown in those lands before. It wept raindrops of honey. It was called the rain-heart lily. Whenever famine threatened, a single petal from the rain-heart lily placed in water brought 3 days of cleansing rain. It bloomed only once a year. On the day Aminata disappeared. To this day, her story is not told in whispers but sung in every lullaby, painted in every home, woven into every cloth. Drums speak her name. Flames dance to her story. And when the wind shifts during the first rainfall of the season, the elders lift their faces to the sky, eyes closed, and whisper, "She sings still."